Hey guys, it's B-Train here. So throughout my journey as an indie game developer, I've worked a day job full-time, part-time. I've been a full-time indie game developer. I've been a part-time indie game developer. I've went through a lot of different types of jobs. And what I found useful was working full-time job as a part-time indie game developer. And I wanted to share some of the reasons why. There's a lot of videos you see online where people are just quitting their job and trying to go full-time indie and all that stuff. And although I have done it before in the past, I wanted to share some of the reasons why I actually think it's not the best way to go. And what worked for me was to work full time. So my number one reason is no financial anxiety. You still have a bit of anxiety because you want to, you have a budget for your game, you kind of want to pay it off. Like you want to recoup your costs eventually. I get it. But I don't have to worry about rent. I don't have to worry about grocery. Not having that financial anxiety actually helps me make games better. When you don't rely on the sales of your games, when you start relying on your game sales, you start making desperate decisions. And nobody wants to do that. You don't want to rush launch your game and then like the game is so buggy that like nobody wants to play it, right? You want to make sound, reasonable decisions. And when you have a full-time or part-time job, you don't got to worry about rent or grocery. It helps a lot. You don't want to have to be in that situation where you need to release that game so you can pay your rent, right? So that's my number one reason. My second reason is it's just good to take a break from game dev. I believe in doing something useful in society that isn't just making my game, right? As a human in society, we need to give value into society and help people around us, but when you work on your project all the time, you're always in your own head. You need a break from that. You need to go out, help people. It depends on what day job you have, but there are many benefits to working a daytime job. Sometimes it's nice to just go outside your house and talk to people, right? When you're inside your office all day, you're just kind of like focusing on your game. You're not interacting with anybody. You're not getting sunlight. You're not getting physical activity, none of that. That's why it helps to have a day job that you could find some fulfillment in your life that isn't related to your game project. Like me personally, right now, I actually am doing a physical labor job, but I enjoy it because I'm helping people out there. I'm getting sunlight, I'm getting exercise. I have time to think in my head about how to improve my project. You need to do something outside of game dev that is fulfilling, right? Game dev should not be the only fulfilling thing that you want in life. At least it is for me, right? I cannot speak for everybody, but I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. Doing something that will make you feel fulfilled that isn't just your game project will go a long way. And it works both ways too, right? Like if you have a shitty day at your day job, but your game project's going super well at night or whatever time you're working on your game, like that's awesome, Because you're working on multiple things in your life, there's always something uplifting about it because something is always going to go right in your day. All right, my third thing, you will make better games because you're working a full-time job. This might be surprising to people, but because you have personal income, you're actually able to invest more money into your game to make a better product, right? If you're only working on your game and you don't have the money and you're like starving and trying to pay the bills and stuff, you're not going to be able to put as much money into the game and give it the adequate amount of love and investment into it. Even if you're like a solo game developer and you don't invest money in your own game, that's fine. But if you have money, you can keep investing in yourself, right? You could keep buying courses, you could keep learning, all that stuff, and you will make better games because your skill set is going to be higher. So having like just multiple sources of income to make your game will go a long way. You don't have to suffer for like 1 or 2 years, release the game and hope that it sells very well. If you work now, you can make that game even better and your chances of that happening is even higher. My fourth reason is you actually don't burn out as easily. I was kind of surprised by this myself, I think most people would not expect this, but I found it to be true. So a big misconception people have is that burnout does not come from activity. It comes from stress. You do not burn out when you're like playing video games all day. You do not burn out watching Netflix all day. All of that is actually coming from stress, right? when you're working on your project, but you're stressed out about the quality of the project, or you're stressed out about financial situation or whatever, that is what causes burnout. But if you have a full-time job or a part-time job or whatever, you don't have the financial stress of working on that project. The project is just something you work on after work or before work or whatever time you start on it. And something people might not expect as well is that you're going to be more productive during those hours because you have less time to work on it. Something people should look into is Parkinson's law. Just because you have more time does not mean you're going to be more productive. Sometimes you're just going to fill in all that time working on your game, and then you just fuck around and go on YouTube or whatever. You're actually not being productive, even though you gave yourself double the time, right? But when you work a full-time job and you're like, okay, I only got 2-3 days to work on this game, I got to make my hours count. You're actually going to get about the same amount of work done if you plan it properly. I can't say it's like that for everybody, but I could just say that is true for me. All right, guys, I hope this is helpful. And if you guys want to keep working your full-time job, if you guys want to quit your full-time job, I totally get it. I've been on both sides, but what worked for me was I've actually prefer working a full-time job and just working on indie game part-time. And you know what? That's okay. I still take myself seriously as an indie game developer, but there are just so many benefits of working a part-time or full-time job while working on your game. Don't put all your eggs in the basket of releasing that indie game and hoping it's give you like a 2-year salary. All right, guys, that's it for me. I'll see you guys next time. Hey, if you guys want to support the channel, make sure to wishlist Grey Heritage Noble Duty. It's part of the Grey Heritage series that I've made in SRPG Studio. If you guys want to play a released game, I also have Grey Heritage Faded Vision. Make sure to check those out. Links is in the description.